welcome to this panel discussion on the variety of roles in tech. Everyone, please come and listen. I can beatbox, I can dance, so come on in. My name is Zakaria Milad. My pronouns are he and him. I'm the lead for inclusion, diversity, and belonging at Just Eat. I'm the host today, and we have a beautiful set of panelists here today. First of all, who here has ordered on the Just Eat app?
Love that.
Okay. Who here has seen a Just Eat delivery person on the streets? All right. Who here has heard the song that just played? The Did Somebody Say Just Eat? Okay.
Ding dong.
Has anyone seen the Snoop Dogg one? Yeah? Okay. I miss Uncle Snoop. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for coming. You all seem to know Just Eat, but you might not know that Just Eat is the biggest food delivery company in the UK, but also that it's present in many countries across the world, more than 20 countries, all the way from New Zealand and Australia to many countries in Europe, Germany, Spain, Italy, UK, and Ireland, also all the way to Canada and the US. And because we're such a big company, we also want to inspire young people to enter into tech. That's why we've been running the STEM program for many, many years. Actually, every year we inspire more than 10,000 young people to enter into tech. And that's why we are here today. So I'll start with a question to our panelists, because you're not here to listen to me, you're here to listen to the panelists. Kim Yen, I'll start with you.
All right, thank you. Hi, my name is Kim Yen, and I started at Just Eat in January this year. And I was actually in your position this time last year. So I attended Black Tech Fest, saw that Just Eat were there, and like quite a few other people just thought, food? I don't want to be a courier. But actually, they're a massive tech company. I work as a junior product analyst, which involves data, and beforehand was actually working as a doctor for 5 years. So it's been a pretty big transition for me, but it's been an amazing journey. People often ask me, like, how come tech, or how did you manage to get that job? Because it's so different. But actually, there are lots of things that are similar within my job. For example, I've been used to communicating a lot with patients and other colleagues, and even now, I'll still communicate with my stakeholders, and I've had to do lots and lots of analysis as my job as a doctor, so writing papers, as well as when you do speak to patients, you're problem solving, analyzing, wondering what's wrong with them. And I've taken that into my role now to just analyze kind of data and problems. As those are the things that I really enjoy in my job that I do now.
I find it so inspiring that you moved from medical profession into tech, and it just goes to show how different routes there are into tech. Ishi, how about you? How did you get into tech, and what skills did you have to showcase?
Yeah. Hey everyone. My name is Ishi. I'm a senior product designer at Just Eat. I've been there for 3 years and 2 months now. My role as a senior product designer is to firstly identify and define user problems, and then use creativity to help resolve those problems, all whilst working within a multidisciplinary team. In terms of how I got into tech, it pretty much started from when I was a youngster, and my love for science, which led to me doing a chemistry and business degree. Upon graduating, I wasn't really sure about what I wanted to do. I ended up doing a role within executive search, so hiring for senior roles, and that was within the finance industry. I left that role because I wanted to do something a bit more fulfilling. And so I took some time out to really think deeply about what would make up my so-called perfect role. For my role within executive search, I gained a lot of skills, including communication, as I would interview clients and candidates, stakeholder management. And so I wanted to balance that with the other skills which I gained from my degree, which were the analytical, the detail-oriented, and the research ones. So the only thing missing there was just to add a creativity element into it. So I started looking for what that perfect role would be, and I looked into tech. And I started looking at job descriptions, and that was my first port of call. And I then came across a UX designer job description, and I remember reading it, and every line of it just feeling quite intrigued by it and wanting to learn more. I also felt that, UX design, from what I'd learned, was a bit of a science because it involves creating hypotheses, testing, research, data. So it pretty much felt perfect. But I continued to look at other job descriptions for UX design role, mainly to ensure that the first one I saw wasn't fake, and also to further validate my understanding of the world. I then, at that point, stopped looking at other roles within tech and went deep on UX design itself. So I watched YouTube videos, I went to meetups, I started doing some self-taught courses, and all of this further reaffirmed my desire to go into this career path. And so my next steps were to figure out how I would get into that career path. And of all the options I had, I decided to enroll onto a 10-week UX design bootcamp at General Assembly. So I did the bootcamp, built a portfolio of my courses there, or the projects I did there, and then went onto the job market and secured a role within a couple of months as a junior product designer at a hotel tech company. And just to not confuse everyone, product design is both UX and UI design.
Thank you, Ishi, and yeah, it goes to show how there's so many resources available in order to enter tech, and like you said, boot camps, online, YouTube, all these things. There's so many different ways to get in. Corey, how about you? What was your story to get into tech, and what skills did you have to showcase?
Hi, I'm Corey. This is actually my second year at Black Tech Fest as well. I'm an agile delivery manager at Just Eat, obviously. I've been there a shocking 8 years. I know, I look so young. How is that possible? Which is part of the story, really. I started at Just Eat when I was 21. I started in logistics, which was not tech at all. It was all to do with the devices that restaurants receive their orders on. And in 2019, someone had contacted me in tech about a job, and I was like, me? No, I don't. I don't know anything about tech. I know how to turn on my laptop. That is about it. I thought, let me just go for the interview, for the experience. Went, got the job somehow, started in engineering, and I was doing the app side of the device. So it was an easy transition. And that was kind of the beginning of my journey into tech. And then similar thing, I was doing a lot of project management. I was quite good at it. Everyone seemed to say I was good at it. So I thought, okay, I'll lean into that. And then, which is essentially kind of what a delivery manager is. It's heavy project, scrum master. That's kind of the essence of what I do. So I thought, okay, I'll just go for an interview. Again, put my name in a hat. Somehow got the job again. So that's been 3 years now. I've been a delivery manager. And I think the key skills in my job, which is, I think, not being techie. I'm not technical. I still say that, and I work at a tech company. I don't know all the time what people are talking about, but it's not really my job to know what they're talking about. It's my job to empower people to be able to do their technical role to the best of their ability with the resources and the facilitation and the collaboration that requires. I guess I'm like a glorified middleman, if you will. For me, I just think part of me wanting to be here is to spread that message of you don't have to know how to code and be an engineer or to be in tech and have a tech role. There are so many other types of jobs that you can lean into your skills and things you enjoy.
Yeah, thanks for that. I mean, I'm going to get back to you because I want to hear more about that. I see that there is, I keep on seeing that you don't need any technical skills to be working very closely with tech teams or tech companies. And we should talk more about that. Hassan, I'm going to come to you. From your perspective, how do you see this in terms of the skills that people need to showcase, the experience, and also the variety of roles that are available?
Sure. So firstly, hello everyone. My name is Hassan, and I've been working at Jet for coming up to 6 years. Wow, actually that sounds like a very long time when I say it out loud. My role is Global Talent Acquisition Manager, so ultimately I help to lead on our technology and product hiring. Something that I'd say I'm super passionate about is advising, building, and executing successful hiring campaigns with our stakeholders with the aim of building high-performing teams. Going back to your question, Zakaria, I think the most important point I would want to make around here is I know naturally people tend to think that it's important to kind of go to university, get that degree in, for example, computer science. And don't get me wrong, that's definitely one route into your role within tech. However, that is only one route into your role within tech. And as we've heard, there's a variety of different routes. To link it back to probably our early careers program, we don't necessarily look for particular technology experience or prior experience to help you get your role within tech. So we do tend to focus more on competencies. And a few examples of these competencies would be relationship building or the willingness to learn. And we have assessments in place that will help us assess these. But again, it doesn't kind of limit you to having that one route that I think historically used to be the only route into tech. So yeah, I guess the most important point there is a variety of routes that can help you land your first role within tech.
If my parents ever found out that you don't need a degree to get a job, they would be baffled. I should have known that ages ago.
I speak to my parents about it every day, and
yeah,
they're also baffled. So
it's pretty cool, to be honest. Now, obviously, we're talking about tech. We are also at Black Tech Fest. How those two intersect is a discussion we can talk about forever. We don't have that much time, but it's still, Ishi, I do want to hear from you, especially as a black person. Did you face any barriers getting into tech, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so, I don't think it comes as a massive surprise for everyone, but when I was looking to break into tech, I just didn't really come across anyone that looked like me. I was using LinkedIn quite in a thorough manner to try and connect with people, UK or London-based, and I didn't come across any product designers, UX designers who were black. When I went to meetups, again, didn't see anyone that was black. When I was interviewing with companies, the people that were interviewing me, none of them were black. When I was walking around their offices, so these are, other people that work for the company in other roles, not many of them were black. There was no Black Tech Fest when I was looking to break into the industry in early 2018, so definitely make the most of today. And all of that just kind of made the process feel quite lonely. It was already quite lonely because all of my other friends were doing great in their careers, but to not have someone that I feel like could help mentor me through the process was a challenge. And this led to a lot of self-doubt. And when you when you couple that with the fact that I grew up on an estate in Hackney, I just genuinely felt that I did not belong in these companies or the industry at all. My imposter syndrome went through the roof. But, whilst that challenge did exist, I used it as drive and as motivation in preparation for my interviews, so I ensured I was overly prepared. With every passing interview, I became more confident, and I was just incredibly determined to not waste the investment through time and money that I put in over the past year from leaving my role within executive search.
Would you do anything differently?
I would, in hindsight, I just probably wish I was more confident. Just maybe reassure myself that I do belong in the tech industry and I do belong in the tech companies that I was interviewing for. Just not feel as anxious when walking into these companies and during my interviews.
And did you feel you had the support system you needed, especially from a black perspective? Did you have black mentors and a black support system that could help you?
I didn't have that at the time. I had friends and family, and they were very supportive. I didn't really have that in the industry. And so I just think, everyone here today, make sure you connect with everyone, just to help you, give you that support when you do try and break into tech.
Yeah, and that's why it's so powerful to be here. A space that's for Black people in tech or trying to get into tech is, it's all about supporting each other and finding that support system. Also curious from the rest of you if anyone's had any similar barriers and how you overcame them.
I wouldn't say I've had any barriers, but I just wanted to speak to Ishi's point about confidence. I think that confidence is a hard thing, right? Like in life in general, let alone like in a career or a passion. And I think one thing for me when I was young, like I didn't go to university, I didn't even go to college. I just didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I've somehow landed here. And I think I wasn't confident either, really, in any of the choices I was making. I was just making choices without a lot of guidance and direction. And I think even as an adult, I think it's important to say it's okay to feel that way. Like I have such bad imposter syndrome in my job even now. Like I look around the room, I work in information security, which is filled with people that are so smart and are so technical, and I'm there like blinking blankly, not sure what they're talking about. And it's okay, like it's fine. And I think especially for us, like when we were younger, we didn't have things like this. I definitely didn't have a Black Tech Fest to go to, or was taught about careers outside of maybe being a doctor and a lawyer. So this is like a great start. Like if anyone isn't feeling very confident, like it's all right, and it's just fine. Like don't look at adults or people that you perceive to be where you want to be or doing amazing and think they're so confident and they've got it all figured out. Like I promise you, probably not. I promise you, we're all probably in the mirror every day. Like, well, what am I doing?
Yeah, everyone's winging it, right? Yeah. And Kim Yen, given everything that we just heard, is there any advice you would give your younger self?
Yeah, so I want to turn it on its head a bit, in not just including your younger self, because I think there are probably other people in the crowd as well, like me, who've changed kind of later in life. So sort of advice to everyone, is any stage that you are. Firstly, it's never too late. If you're not happy, you want to make a change. Also, speaking to kind of the confidence as well, you are able to do a lot more than you think you can. And what I was mentioning about my transferable skills, no, I couldn't code, and people told me, you can't code, you can't be in tech, but I had skills that meant I could learn how to code. And some of you out there, you're probably learning, and you can learn if that's what you want to do. So I think it's being like, believing in yourself, being confident that you have skills that you could use. And also, it's not too late. If somebody tells you you're in your 30s, but you want to get into something new, you can if you want to. Just go to events like this and, reach out to people on LinkedIn, because I had no idea about jobs that weren't medical jobs. I just reached out to people and asked, what's that? What's that? What does an engineer actually do? So, and people are really receptive to it, way more than you think they will be. So just reach out to them.
And Ishi, how about you? Is there any advice you would give your younger self?
So I think, in terms of, there's such a wide variety of roles in tech. I genuinely believe everyone in this room can find an opportunity for themselves within tech. It's just really about identifying what transferable skills you have and how you can apply that to a role in which you are going for. So I think what I did that really helped me was reading job descriptions and reading multiple of the same job descriptions. And, to be fair, you still need to find out more about the role when speaking to companies, because most job descriptions look the same. But if you're trying to learn about roles, you'll see some similarities within the job descriptions. And then pragmatically think about how you can get into that role. Look at all the other options that are out there. You can go down the self-taught route. You can go down a route in which you're in a taught, structured environment where you can get feedback from your work and learn from others. But I would just say, keep your mind open, broaden your horizons. Go on various tech company websites, look at all of the jobs that are available, and keep going back to those tech company websites, because the roles in which they're hiring for are just for at this moment in time. So go back every quarter, I would say, and just be super confident. There is a role for you in tech, and if you walk into a company and you see that you're probably the only black person or one of only a few black person, don't let that put you off.
Yeah, Shia, I guess I hear everything, and one thing I keep on seeing as well is you just need to apply to a lot of roles. Like, don't think too much about the requirements. You don't need to meet all the requirements. It's fine. Send applications, send LinkedIn messages. Don't be afraid to be annoying and follow up and message multiple times because that's how you get a role.
If I can I'm going to try and keep it concise. I can see the timer ticking down here, right? I think what you mentioned is right. You have to apply, you have to constantly apply, and it ultimately does sometimes become a numbers game, right? But if I can just get one message across, even if it was to my younger self, it would be the power of networking. And I think what everyone is doing here today, attending this event, is a lot more than I ever did. So I would just kind of remind yourself in terms of the power of networking. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, go home, create a LinkedIn profile, start connecting with everyone that's attended the event, and yeah, just maintain those relationships because it will always help and support you in your search.
I'll add one more thing. And if you are looking for somewhere to start your journey, though, I promise I'm not being paid to say this. Just Eat is genuinely, for me, it's been an amazing experience. And I think a lot of people can attest to it, whether they started there 8 years ago or 3 years ago or 2 months ago. And I think it speaks to what we were saying about maybe not having the written degree or on paper what it is to fit into a role. Just Eat is an amazing company that is constantly upskilling people, and we have so many opportunities to learn when we, as employees that work there. I've done so many courses and so many things that if I did ever make the choice to leave and seek new opportunities, I feel like they still do give you the tools to do that. So if you are, we do have that early talent scheme, shameless plug, the early career scheme.
Thank you, Corey.
Yeah, please sign up. You won't regret it. I do just think it's an amazing place to potentially start a career, and it might not be your dream job that you're starting in, but they do rotations, you get to see different teams and maybe roles that you didn't even know about and careers that you wouldn't even have necessarily ever heard of before.
Great, thanks, Corey. And Hassan, final question to you. Is it possible to transition across roles in tech? And what are the variety of roles in tech?
100%. So I think speaking from a general point of view, almost 30% of the hires we make as a talent team internally within Jet are internals transitioning from one role to another. And just to kind of, layer onto that, working for a tech company doesn't mean you necessarily have to work in a tech role. I work in HR. I have no idea what half the things I talk about sometimes are, right? But you can work in HR, you can work in sales, you can work in marketing, and this all helps to build that tech environment and that tech company that we work in. So you don't necessarily have to work within a tech role to be part of a tech company.
Yeah, just to tail off what Hassan said, if you do get into a tech company in a role, you can seek opportunities to shadow people in roles in which you're interested in, and that can give you an insight into whether it's something that could be for you or something that won't be for you. You can go through a process of elimination, and hopefully your manager and other people at the company can help find those opportunities for you. Once you've decided that you want to transition to a role, your company should, I know at Jet we do, potentially even fund any courses that you will need to do to be able to effectively transition into that role.
All right. Thank you very much to our panelists and to all of you. Like they said, networking is super important. We are going to be available at our booth, which is just down there next to the stage. We have free merch. We are promoting our early careers program, which lots of roles that you can sign up interest to. And yeah, please do add us on LinkedIn, talk to us, ask us questions. We're available to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.